Now, she has been our This Morning medic on the front line. Dr. Larissa Corder has spent the past 2 months voluntarily treating COVID-19 patients in a London hospital. She is an obstetrician and gynaecologist, but she volunteered to go on the front line.
Well, look, let's not keep her any longer. Let's go to her live there because, Larissa, you finished a shift at 9 o'clock this morning. That was your last volunteer shift.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, well, how can I put this? I mean, you've done God's work. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant, but you must be quite relieved your stint is over.
You know, it feels like a bit of an end of an era. We're not through the pandemic yet, of course, and there's still many more ill patients with COVID, and the ward that I've just come off, you know, all our beds are still full. But there's been a massive transition between the start when I first joined on the 1st of April and now. And just doing my final shift and going around the ward and saying goodbye to the patients was actually really emotional for me. And as I held their hand and I had a little chat with them and told them that I was going off and I was now going to go and deliver babies, help to create and deliver babies, I realized just how much of this journey I've spent with them, how attached I've become, and how much it means to me that they all survive and that they all make it and get to see their families. So it's been an incredible experience. I can't compare it to anything else I've ever done before.
But
and
has,
I don't
has
think
there
as a
been a
medic,
learning curve as well? I was watching an Horizon programme last night and they were saying that every week that passes, more is learned about the virus. From a practical point of view, there must be observations medics like you make.
Absolutely. I mean, when we first started, we knew very little about the virus other than the fact it was highly contagious. And initially, we thought that really the main thing it led to was pneumonia and possibly sepsis as a result of that. But actually, what we found as time has gone on is that this is more of a multi-system condition that can affect every single organ in your body. So it can start off as a pneumonia, but actually those pneumonias then become much more complicated. And what we found is that this virus, for one reason or another, we haven't quite understood how yet, seems to be targeting a lot of blood vessels around the body. And really, in terms of why people don't survive or they don't do so well, it's as a result of all these complications that their organs sustain. And that's why we need to use multiple methods of life support. So we have learned a lot, but sadly, we still don't have a cure. And that's what's been so frustrating as a doctor in all of this, that we haven't got anything that we can give to fix this problem. All we can do is offer support and hope that all the organs themselves heal and have enough time to heal to restore people back to normal.
And talking of healing, Larissa, I mean, I know the last time we spoke to you, or several times we've spoken to you, you described particularly the early days of you being at the hospital like a war zone, and you and your colleagues have sadly watched a lot of people die, held their hands, sadly, when they died because their families couldn't. What effect has that had on you and your colleagues?
Well, it's really hard to sugarcoat any of this because the realities are that we have seen an awful lot of people die. And I'm sure myself, along with many other colleagues around the country, will never forget that Easter weekend. That's when I also spoke to you, and you'll remember I found that intensely difficult because we'd just lost so many patients within the space of a few days. And we were helpless in the face of being able to save them. We were just overwhelmed. There wasn't, despite all our best measures and modern medicine that we were using, we just couldn't help an awful lot of people. And that's really hard to take as a doctor or a nurse in this, because to some extent, you're used to seeing death, but it doesn't make it any easier. You can never desensitize from it. And I think also for me personally, coming from the other extreme end of helping to create life and bring new life into the world, to be at this completely other end, an interface, was something that was really, really moving for me. And I have found it difficult, but I've had a lot of support from my colleagues. The camaraderie has been amazing. And what's really helped me through it is realizing that I was there for these people when they needed me most, and I helped them to have as dignified an end as they possibly could. And that means an awful lot to me. So, yeah, it's hard, but you do you use methods and techniques to help you to get around it. And you carry these people forever in your heart and your mind, and their stories as well, along with the miracle stories that we've had. And there's been an awful lot of those as well.
Well, thank goodness you have been there. Generally, is there a downturn? Can you see a difference in hospital patient numbers, patients being admitted?
Yes, I mean, there's been a massive shift between sort of starting and being now at a point where I'm going back to maternity next week. And definitely the number of admissions and number of new cases of COVID has drastically reduced, which is a really good thing and testament to how well the NHS has performed in all of this, how well people have come together, and also the general public who've supported us in all of this and stayed at home. So that's been wonderful to see. But what we are now dealing with is an awful lot of still very critically ill people who remain in a difficult situation and difficult conditions that are still affecting them. And so we need to be able to help them now. But the numbers are reducing each day, and more we're seeing people being discharged, which is also really, really good. So a shift is coming, and hopefully normal services and elective procedures that people have waited desperately for will be able to resume soon. But we just have to make sure that things are completely safe and we don't risk new patients coming into the hospital and getting the infection.
Yes.
Well,
Larissa, we know you're going back to the day job, as you said, helping couples with fertility, bringing babies into the world. But for now, we just want to thank you and all your amazing colleagues there at that London hospital for everything you have done. You've been amazing, and it's been so fascinating and very moving talking to you all about it. And I hope that quite soon we'll be able to see you in the studio and we can talk about it a bit more.
This clap is for you and all the other volunteers. 2 months, 2 months of volunteering.
Well done.
Thank you. And I want to clap for all my other colleagues as well who've been amazing in all of this. I could not have done any of it without being part of the most fantastic team, and they deserve all of that clapping. So it's for them too.
Okay,
Thank you for that.
You get home and get some sleep now. That was a long shift. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you soon.
And you, my love. Thank you.